kind of botted out.
The legend, the most electrifying villain in YouTube entertainment today, Mr. General Zod. And tonight, I'm joined here with an elusive purple man, starting off the night, and surprisingly early from everywhere else. We would have Cybernetic Husky on, but Naughty Dog has included them in the gameplay, and it's 50-50 whether or not he's going to make it. So if you see a blue Husky running around in The Last of Us, please do not kill him. And that's a joke for anyone who was here last night. Like Timon Flip, what up, Timon? I got to give a shout out to some people we've had on, man. Some consistent viewers. We had Jamie Vick, we had Tara in here. We had a lot of people. We had you fucking trolling. So I want to say shout out to everybody who has been here. Perp's popped out, but he'll be back. But yeah, last night was a great show. Tonight we've got another stellar show for you. What up, Jamie Vick? Good to see you in the chat.
Completely hit the wrong button.
Yo, I've done that too. I hate that shit. Or when you think you're refreshing the chat and you accidentally hit the refresh button and it takes you out of StreamYard, it pisses me off.
Right.
But yeah. So anyways, we have a great show for you guys tonight. It's good to see you all. I'm gonna be doing some different things. We're gonna talk about some things, some entertainment stuff, some different kinds of entertainment things, some media things, just bullshitting the normal stuff. But anyways, Mr. Perp Minded has just gotten monetized, so they're finally not holding a black man down. How does that feel?
Feels amazing. I feel like a free man.
Yeah, man.
Starting to make some all this hard work, all these 800 videos that I've made, starting to pay off. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it is. It's good to see that they got you monetized again. And of course, I wasn't gonna start until we got Mr. PB here. So,
What do you mean?
PB.
You started
You're
right on time, and I was exactly 3 minutes late.
Damn,
which
that's
apparently
a
I
record.
was getting, well, not excoriated, but I got scolded by my cousin on the internet for being late because he was asking. He's like, I need people to come to my Star Wars ranking stream. Got any suggestions? And Husky suggested me. And then he responded to Husky with, I need people that can show up on time. And then I laughed. That's funny shit, man.
That's a record though. 3 minutes late. That's a record.
I mean, if we're talking about being late, yeah, that's probably a record for me being late. But I've been on time before, like that. That does happen from time to time. Sometimes. Other times I just let Perp vamp for 25 minutes talking about nothing.
Yep. Yeah, so I had an interesting debate on K-Dot's channel. We was talking about which was a better movie, Infinity War or Endgame. Of course, most people picked Endgame. I picked Infinity War, but that was a really interesting report.
So, most people pick Endgame?
Yeah.
Really? As a better movie? Than Infinity War.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's to each its own.
Oh my. Oh man. Okay, well, people dying in a movie and what characters die doesn't necessarily determine whether or not the movie is better or worse. What determines whether a movie is better or worse is whether or not I'm sitting there scratching my head for an hour and a half going, why the fuck isn't this different? You just changed fucking time. And they're like, did you hear what the Incredible Hulk said earlier? I was like, nobody fucking heard what he said earlier. He said 50 fucking words in 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's the funny part. I feel like he explained the whole movie, and they purposely sped up him talking so that you couldn't exactly hear what was being said. Because I'm pretty sure somewhere within that monologue of 50 words going, there was the plot. I don't know. It was still action packed. But yeah, we got a great show. We got two people who are never on time, actually on time. And PB, I was saying, unfortunately, Cybernetic Husky was casted for a new game, The Last of Us. So we're gonna have a drink for Cyber because he may not be back on the. Yeah, it was like, yeah, I've been digitally rendered, and I said, oh, that's great. What game they got you in? He goes, The Last of Us 2. I said, oh, well, it's been nice having you on the panel, Cyber.
He's made
Yep,
it.
I've seen that tweet that he shared in the group about the guy who's like, yeah, this is going to be me when The Last of Us 2 comes out killing dogs. And I watched it, and it's just a chick firing an assault rifle into the water. And I was like, okay, the dogs will be fine because this chick is erratic as fuck.
So what are the
Yeah, I
topics?
saw that tweet earlier. It was hilarious.
Mr. Zod, what are the topics for tonight?
So we got some great topics, and the first one I'm going to start off with, the very first topic, is going to be on the Batman. It's been scarce these days for movie news, but we have Mr. Andy Serkis did an interview, and as you guys know, he's in the new Batman playing Alfred. And before we get started, that's an interesting casting choice because I saw him as Claw, and it's weird now seeing him playing a butler, but I got to see him in the movie. It's a very interesting choice.
Showing his range.
So, yeah. He's definitely, he has range. I believe he has the range to pull it off. It's just gonna take me getting used to,
he had
because
the range to get his arm pulled off.
I mean, they had the technology to do that. So, anyways, Andy Serkis says the Batman is going to be the darkest incantation yet. Andy Serkis has opened up about.
Oh man, so it's gonna be like episode 3 of season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Oh, dear God!
It was dark.
Yeah, I hope we're not going into Red Wedding territory. But anyways, Andy Serkis has opened up about the upcoming Batman film and insisting that it's going to be darker than the previous cinematic incarnations of the superhero. Serkis made these comments to the Leb Bible, have no clue what that is, after being asked whether or not Matt Reeves' Batman film, which will see him play Alfred Pennyworth to Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne, will be darker and broodier than the likes of the Dark Knight trilogy and Batman versus the Superman. I want to stop right here. Now, here's the thing. I don't mind the bleak Dark Knight trilogy. I think that was very well done. But I don't want them to go to the other side of like Batman stringing people up and branding them.
I think that they're gonna go the direction of like sort of how the animated series went, how like kind of dark that was.
No, I could take that dark. I believe PB said it best on the channel before, where I don't want to see him mowing down motherfuckers with a Gatling gun.
I don't got a problem with that.
Now they're taking it a step farther. He's gonna be on I don't remember what was that, Earth 10? And Robert Pattinson turns into Kevin Conroy Batman, where he just kills anybody who steps out of line. He's like, did you look at me weird? Boom, dead.
He's gonna be carrying 9mm, and he's gonna be like, "I'm busting caps in these criminals, bitches."
That's right.
So he said, "I would say that's not far from the truth," was Circuit's response before he went on to explain this film is very much about the emotional connection between Alfred and Bruce. I'm just glad that they're going to make John Campea happy because you know how he feels about emotional weight. That's really at the center of it, and is really exquisite script that Matt has written. He used exquisite, so you know it's going to be a good script.
It's fancy.
And you
Yeah, that's
pronounced
some
it.
fancy words.
Fuck. Have another drink, man.
Circus has some rather big shoes to fill when it comes to playing Alfred, as the character previously portrayed by Michael Goran, Jeremy Irons, and Michael Caine. Circus is clearly a big fan of Caine's work in the role, calling him fantastic and his Alfred legendary. Before adding, I couldn't even begin to go there, really. I couldn't. You find yourself, you find it for yourself. It's like playing these iconic roles in Shakespeare's. You go back, you revisit them, and you see how to make them your own and see what it is about the character that connects with you and your personal Venn diagram. Circus also revealed that he was literally halfway through shooting the Batman when the quarantine began, and he is interested to see how the shooting will be affected when it eventually starts again. When it does, though, the Batman is released. Circus insists it will be a beautiful film. So,
I trust him.
yeah, Andy Circus, he's a great guy, great actor. Yes, don't worry, Dragon World, welcome. We are going to talk about that next, Kong versus Godzilla, and
You
the
gotta
setting
put
of
more
that movie.
emphasis on dragon. It's in all caps, guy.
Oh, Dragon World.
There you go.
So, yeah. So, thoughts. Let me just go down the line. There's a couple of things in this article to really break down, and go ahead, chat. Let me know what you think about this. But, like, what do you feel the appropriate dark is? What do you think they need to hit? And you know, I think they need to distinguish themselves. Whether you like Batman versus Superman, it definitely was different from Dark Knight. I mean, it did have its own unique tone. What do you think they should go for in this movie? Perp, you start things off, and then we'll go to PB.
Um, what was the question again? No, 'cause
What do you
I dozed off for a second.
what do you think the tone is for this film they should go for? And what do you think they
Like,
should do to set themselves apart?
I mean, like I said, you kind of have to give us a different Bruce Wayne and a different type of Batman, but kind of still make them feel like the characters, which I feel like just based off of the backlash they got with Ben Affleck's Batman, that they're going to have to kind of go in a completely different direction with him because they've done almost everything with his character that you could probably think of. Maybe they found something different, and that's why they chose Pattinson for this and whatnot. But I think the dark and brooding, just just kind of just give us more of that detective side of Batman this time around and stuff, which that's what seems like they're going for. It's going to be more of a detective type of movie. So, um, Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see that first trailer because that first trailer is gonna really kind of tell it all and
Yeah,
kind
you bring up a good point with the trailer. And I think we've talked about this before. Your trailer could sink or it could propel your movie to greatness because so many people, how many judgments do you have? Like, take for instance, Rise of Skywalker, right? The first trailer was like meh, and then they didn't really get better from there. I know you like the movie Perp. Sorry, but the trailers were god awful. I mean, you have to admit that. Like a lot,
yeah, but
they got
we've also
progressively worse.
we've also seen trailers that kind of duped us that where some people opinion wise, but like look at the those Batman for Superman trailers. Those were some of the best trailers I've ever seen in my life. Those were crazy to me, and
Yep.
like
Well, yeah, because you put Batman and Superman in a trailer, so you
mhm.
got 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I don't remember exactly how long it is of Batman and Superman, and a little bit of Lex Luthor, a little bit of Lois Lane. You're like,
Do
this
you
we're
bleed?
putting both big characters in a movie. Awesome. And then they tried to extrapolate it into a 2.5 hour movie, and bleh.
And we got our final product. But I'll never forget the first trailer of Batman versus Superman. I believe was the one where they showed him in the armor suit and he was looking up for a split second, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?" And me being a comic book fan, I go, "Oh, that's the suit he directly built to combat Superman." I was
That
like,
shit
"This
just
shit's gonna be off the hook."
that shit just was clean as hell. It's just like I was super excited. I was like, bro, Batman and fucking Superman. It's fucking
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like, and here's the thing though. Let's be real. That trailer and those characters sold that movie, just like with Dark Knight. I remember before they released a really extensive trailer. Remember that trailer they had where they just showed the bat symbol, right? They showed some
Yeah.
clips of just Batman, but we heard Joker was supposed to be in it, but they didn't show him, but you heard his laugh, and everyone was like, oh shit. And then they started like showing Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean,
Okay.
so marketing is key. And one thing I'll give DC, for the most part, they really do know how to market their movies fairly well. Even the ones that aren't that great. I'd say the worst marketing they had so far was Birds of Prey. That was terribly marketed.
And
But
Justice League.
well, Justice League wasn't that bad. Except for that last one with Jason Momoa riding on the bat. Yeah, that was. But I mean, for the most part, some of those trailers were pretty interesting looking. But yeah, I mean, and you got to remember too, we were coming off Batman versus Superman. And a lot of people were salty about that. So when they came out with Justice League, there was a lot of like doubt floating around after Batman versus Superman. Somehow people still gave them the benefit, and boy, they fucked that up. So
Oh, because Zack Snyder is a cinematic genius.
well, here's the thing, okay? I'm not one of these crazy, diehard, really weirdo Zack Snyder fans, but I will give credit where credit is due. The man is great at shooting. Like Perp said, he's got clean shots, like really clean with the 3D effects, the animation, things like that. He can put
he
together
shoot
a good-looking movie. The
he shoots action
problem
well.
the problem is he shoots action. Exactly. He's not really strong in the story department. He's fucking weird. Like his ideas go really far fucking left. He's very dark. And sometimes he's just too dark. like
You're not
uh,
supposed to take the most ridiculous Batman comic and tell me that is composite Batman. Oh, it happened in a comic, so that's Batman. That's not how it works. This is a movie.
I think he had my feelings on Zack Snyder is I think that he had good starts for ideas, but he needed someone on the side of him to rein him in. And plus, DC tends to really oversee their projects like to a ridiculous level. You don't need an exec to be the one trying to rein them in. You need someone close to the director, like I don't know, the producer, the co-writer, whoever the fuck is close to the director. You need that person saying, Zach, maybe we should be not mowing down so many people with a fucking Gatling gun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, he had some dark ideas, like I don't know, Batman going to jail and being raped. And some of the shit that he leaked, like
Who's taking
Who
Batman's
the hell? Who in the hell
cheeks?
is gonna rape Batman?
Man, he's like, I'm going to break the bat.
physically and mentally.
Like they did half
Yeah.
a season of Green Arrow in prison. Ain't nobody raping these guys in prison.
Yeah, we see. That was my. I got to be honest. Out of the new seasons, Green Arrow in prison was probably the best season. It was interesting seeing him like behind bars, trying to do his workouts, and he had to like switch them up. He couldn't do the little bar thing, but
Yeah,
no
the
one was
salmon
fucking
ladder can
without a
only go
receipt.
so high when your cell has a ceiling like that.
Yeah, Timon Flip. He says Snyder doesn't get Batman or Superman right. Scott Snyder, I believe, does the best comics, and he should have been
Are they
with
related?
Zack Snyder. Yeah. And here's the irony.
Wait, Scott Snyder writes comics or colors comics or draws comics or what?
He draws and comes up with the story ideas. He's made some of the
Okay.
most successful comic books. He did
So he
Batman.
does it the Marvel way. Right?
Yeah,
That's the
he's
Marvel
really
method.
yeah, he's really good. He's done some dark stories, but they've been reasonable, and he still keeps it within the characters. Like he did one where Batman was trapped in Arkham, and that was interesting. And you got to see what Batman was thinking, and he interacted with Joker and Harley Quinn. It was a great comic book series. He did the Joker comic book. Yeah. So I mean, there should have been some consulting. Like you can do dark, you can do gritty, but at the same time, you got to stay true to the characters and how they would act. I mean, we said that.
I think based on what he was trying to do, because he said he wanted 5 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So like by the time we got after Justice League, because it seemed like that's where they're going for, like Batman's kind of personality change, definitely in Justice League, and we were starting to go in that direction, but like the backlash of the audience and the fans was too much for them to even go. Because we could have gotten that if he would have. We could have possibly gotten all that, like everything that everybody ever wanted with the last 2 whatever movies he was going to do with these arcs. But it's too late.
Yep. But I've seen some things that Matt Reeves is doing. I think his head is in the right place. I co-sign completely the idea of taking it back to year 1, because this is essentially year 1 Batman. And
year 2.
Yeah, somewhere in that arc. It's the beginning. It's like beta phase. So I'm really excited about this. And hopefully it comes out good. Dragon World quoted Michael Bay. And look, I like Transformers, but I do not like I like the first one, and I can deal with the second one, but I don't like Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction.
So they're only good as long as they have Megan Fox. I get it.
No, I mean, can anyone argue that point for me?
Megan Fox is hotter than whoever that other frickin' model chick is. That's a fact.
Yes, facts. And I wish she didn't have a problem with Michael Bay, but my whole thing is, you can deviate from the comic books. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not like one of these purists. Look, I read the comic. I don't need to fucking see a play for play. I mean, one of my favorite was Watchmen, but I don't need to see a play for play of the comics. But I at least like the characters or the essence of them to stay intact, you know? Because there's a certain reason why they remain intact, why people like the characters the way that they are, you know? So with that being said, we can all
Wait,
agree.
can I
What?
answer the question now?
Oh shit, yeah. Go ahead, PB.
Jesus. This freaking guy. He's like, we'll go right down the line here. We'll start with perp, and then we got into a nice little discussion. I was like, okay, I'll be able to answer the question. And then you said your good old line. We can all agree. I was like, this motherfucker's trying to move on, and I didn't even answer yet. Son of a bitch, man. Damn. Anyway, the question is, they're going for a darker tone. Like that's what he said he's going for. So I think that it's going to be something that is like 89 Batman minus the campiness. So you're not going to see these weird, funny jokes or killing people in a comical fashion or anything like that. And then everything is just going to be updated for our modern world. Like everybody's already seen the Batmobile. That's completely updated. That looks freaking awesome as hell. And then you've seen his bat suit. That's updated. And I'm sure once the movie rolls around, it's not going to look exactly how it looks because once it gets into post production, they're going to make it look a lot shinier. So if I can totally, I agree with Jamie Vick. Like I can go for a darker Batman in the tone, but he can't just be going around murdering people, not trying to get them arrested or, to go through the justice system because that's the point of being a superhero instead of an anti-villain or an anti-hero or whatever, like the Punisher. Or
Yeah,
what's a good example for DC Comics of an anti-hero?
I would say
Wolverine.
probably who?
Did you
Did
just
you
say
throw there?
Wolverine?
Yes.
I said
Wolverine is
DC.
Marvel.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Marvel.
No, no, we're talking about the real thing.
I guess Black Adam would be considered anti-hero slash
Okay,
villain.
yep, that would work. That would work. Absolutely. Somebody
Yeah,
who's not necessarily looking to do good, but does end up doing good.
I'm willing to bet this Batman's gonna have the white eyes. They're going to
Ooh.
pull the spider. They're gonna pull a Spider-Man, like how Spider-Man's eyes move. They're gonna do that with Batman.
I can be down for that. Like, I like the white eyes. Like, they don't necessarily. Do you think they're going to be on the entire time? Like, when he's in the suit, they're always white?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well,
I
then
think
they
they can
don't
get
have to
away with.
worry about the stupid problem that they have on Batwoman, where as soon as she pulls the cowl off, all of the makeup that is supposed to be around her eyes to black out her eyes is magically gone.
Yeah,
That
that
shit
shit's
fucking
funny as
pissed me
heck.
off. I was like, wait a second, your eyes were just black, and that doesn't, it's not on the fucking mask. So how you doing this magic?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be funny watching this Batman shit roll out because you already know, like, since we've seen these set photos and everything, people are already jumping to conclusions like, oh, this is gonna be the worst Batman of all time, blah blah blah. I just say, wait till the movie come out. Everybody's opinion gonna change. Happens all the time. Happens all the
Yeah,
time.
people, it's a lot easier to be outraged about something when you jump to conclusions than when you actually go and see a finished product and then can, have your retrospective on it and say, oh, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought, or it didn't look as bad as I thought it looked. Because, yeah, everybody, I agree that the bat suit itself doesn't look quite as sleek as I thought it was going to be, but
Hmm.
that's not what it's going to look like in the movie.
Yeah. And everybody makes a complaint. He's like, "Oh, he's got $1 billion." And this, da, 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 da. I was like, "Bro, it still takes time to make shit. Like, you can't make all these like fucking sleek ass outfits and all this shit in 2 years, bro. When you're just
Right,
starting."
especially if it's supposed to be somewhere between year one and year two, like you don't have everything, which it makes more sense that he essentially took a muscle car and just turned it into a Batmobile instead of having something like he has in The Dark Knight, where he's like, yeah, I built something specifically for this purpose. Like, that's a completely different style of Batmobile than what is going to be in this movie. And the one in this movie is still going to be
And,
awesome.
and I think they're going to, because everybody, I see another issue people have with the movie that there's no Lucius Fox, which I feel like he could be in this movie. Like, we don't know, because like this Batman might want to stay low key until like he gets kind of fucked up and banged up, and his suit's all fucked up, and then he runs into Lucius, be like, "I can help you." Sequel.
Like, what? They know that there's no Lucius Fox because what? There hasn't been a single black person cast for the movie?
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
would find that hard to believe.
yeah, and let's be real. They keep these things close to the vest. That they have been announcing this casting slowly, so we really don't know everyone and everything that they're going to have. They've even kicked around a Joker. They're talking about I forget his name, but he's the dude who's in It. I like him as an actor.
Bill Skarsgård would be a perfect
Yeah.
Joker.
Bill Skarsgård is such an underrated actor. I really love him. He was in a great show that was on Netflix, and you know, in
What was
that
the name
show,
of
he
this
should
great show, or was that the name of it? A great show.
ah. Right now, I'm blanking out because I've had
It,
quite
it,
a few.
it does suck that Jared Leto didn't really get a shot though. I would liked to see
Ugh.
them to give him a new shot, but just kind of just completely retcon his look and stuff and his character and just let him be Leto and shit. Cause he
I
has the
mean,
laugh, yo. He has the fucking laugh, like not the
I
laugh that he
don't
used to.
know exactly how it would work with his character in this movie because of where it sits in the timeline. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, they would almost not necessarily, like, retcon isn't the right word for it because he just wouldn't have progressed so deep into the character. Like, I don't know what year it's supposed to be that Suicide Squad takes place in, but he would have only been the Joker for at most a year because the Joker only becomes the Joker because Batman is Batman.
Yeah, like I would even say since this is year two, they should switch it up too. Like you could tease the Joker, be like, "Oh, the Red Hood is out there," and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, like his route.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
be like,
take it back. Here's
you could
my
have
thing, though.
you could have Commissioner Gordon be like, "Yeah, you remember the Red Hood gang and stuff? They kind of like disbanded, they kind of disappeared." So that kind of like just kind of has you thinking in the back of your head that the Joker is somewhere out here plotting and shit.
Yeah, here's the thing too. There's so many other great characters from the Rogue Gallery. Like honestly, I would love to see them bring Hush. To me, he's one of the best and underrated Batman villains of all time. And the animated movie didn't fucking do him any justice. So I would like to see a
Oh,
live action
well,
Hush.
he's going to be in Batwoman here pretty soon.
I saw that shit. That shit looked terrible. The dude,
Yeah,
The dude that plays fucking Larry from Doom Patrol looks like a better Hush than fucking whatever they did with that Batwoman shit.
Batwoman is just systematically bending over the Bat universe and ramming it right up the ass. Just Ruby Rose is strapping on that dildo and bending it over and saying,
You're
"Batman's
watching it
legacy."
wrong. It is my favorite Sunday night comedy.
I've got Penny Dreadful, and at least that's good.
Sure. I don't know. You gotta look. What Timon said, Man of Steel was the last DC movie that he saw, and from what he's seen in the news, it will continue that way. You didn't see the Joker, or not the Joker, just Joker? Oh
Yeah,
man!
Or Wonder Woman or Aquaman. Those were solid movies.
You gotta, yeah. You've been skipping out. I can see why if you saw Man of Steel, you're like, I don't know if I want to see the next one. But you should be watching Wonder Woman. You should probably watch Aquaman. I can't really vouch for the rest of them. Like, they're hit or miss. I still haven't seen Shazam yet. But you definitely need to see Joker.
Jamie Vick, I don't think Alexander Skarsgård would make a good Batman. His look is just too weird in real life. He doesn't have the look to pull off a Bruce Wayne. Remember, the thing with Batman that makes it hard is that the actor is not only doing Batman, but he's doing Bruce Wayne. And I've seen really good Batmans and then really good or really terrible Bruce Waynes, or a good Bruce Wayne and a terrible Batman, or both. George Clooney, I'm talking to you, and fucking bat nipples. Never again.
Christian Bale's good. Is a good Bruce Wayne, but as Batman, nah, it's not intimidating.
I disagree. I'd say
he's a skinny ass Batman.
No, did you see him?
About the sizes of heroes and villains in general.
Did you see Hugh Jackman's height? And he still pulled off Wolverine.
Yeah, that's different though. Hugh Jackman's a beast.
Yeah, that's true.
Wolverine's supposed to be like a half a foot shorter.
Yeah, and Hugh Jackman's tall. But he still
Wolverine
made it.
Should be played by somebody no taller than 5'10".
So Peter Dinklage, you're a great actor, but you're out. You can't be the next Wolverine.
I mean, what are you talking about? Peter Dinklage has range, man. He literally plays the largest character in Infinity War.
I would love to see Peter Dinklage play Krillin. I think he'd be a perfect Krillin. But I think
oh my God, that would be the greatest cast ever for. Yeah, I just think he could pull everything off, the attitude, everything. Let's get to one of my favorite movies. If you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of kaiju movies.
I thought you were about to say Brokeback Mountain was your favorite movie.
You're a big fan of Jewish movies?
Brokeback Mountain is misunderstood, and people get all pissy just because it wasn't the love story they were thinking. It was very deep.
It's about two dudes getting their back broke on a mountain. Nah, bro, good.
No, there was layers. There's a lot more to that.
He understands it to a T, a broken T.
But anyways, let's talk about my favorite kaiju of all time. And I'm not one of these people that was hating on King of the Monsters. I thought it was good for what it was. It's a Godzilla movie. It gotta be deep. And Godzilla versus Kong, I feel like this is the main event. I've been waiting for this shit all my life. We're gonna have Godzilla versus Kong, and we're going to read an article on why the Titans are heading to Skull Island for the epic battle. Now, a couple of things. One,
before you read this, when they make the Sinister Six movie, he's gonna say the same thing. I've been waiting for this my whole life.
No, I've already seen the Sinister Six. No.
In a movie?
King Kong. Well, not in a movie, no, but
Fucking A, man.
Continue. we've got them in the animated series. I mean, come on, that was great. Epic team up. Anyways, Godzilla versus King Kong. Why the Titans are heading to Skull Island. Godzilla, king of the monsters, beast, fucking the best. I'm sorry, I ad-libbed that. Credits revealed that some of the Titans are heading for Skull Island. Here's why it may have their attention. So, God, I hate when there's ads. One article in the movie's credits titled "New Titans Drawn to Skull Island" appears to directly tie into the plot of Godzilla versus King Kong. The labels the region as the epicenter of Titan sightings. But what's the explanation for why the Titans would want to travel to Skull Island? First of all, it's important to point out Kong and the Skull Island. It was discovered that was the place and the entry points into the Hollow Earth tunnels. However, it's not the only gateway into the Hollow World. Monarchs have found other ways, way in during King of the Monsters, and more could exit all over the world. It could be that the Titans are being drawn to the gateway underneath Skull Island because something has gained their attention. Monarch, whose next mission is to find the origin of the Titans by exploring the Hollow Earth, may have already begun their expedition. It's possible their investigations awakened a Titan that dwells deep in the tunnels under Skull Island. This Titan could be known as Nakazo, Godzilla versus Kong's mysterious new Titan, or potentially a secret monster that hasn't been revealed yet. The Titans have detected the creature's presence in the same way Godzilla was able to hear the motos in the 2014 Godzilla. Alternatively, the mechanized giant or the organic Titans, briefly mentioned in the credits, may be the focus of their attention. Also, it could be that Godzilla himself, who is now in control of the Titans, is the very reason why they are heading to Skull Island. Godzilla could have noticed that something is happening in the direction of Skull Island, and now is sending his minions to have a look at the disturbance. After all, Titans in the MonsterVerse are now intelligent beings. So it does make sense for Godzilla to utilize his new position in such a way. Whatever is happening, it seems likely it will result in the exciting clash of the Titans, Godzilla versus Kong, with unidentified Titans coming to Skull Island, both Mechagodzilla and Nakazo being thrown into the mix as well. Godzilla versus Kong is sure to be crowded with giant monsters battling it out for supremacy. Yeah.
Should be epic. Because Kong is going to give fucking Godzilla the business. He's going to give him these. He's going to give him these hands.
Yeah, he has opposable thumbs.
He's going to give these hands.
But Godzilla is way taller than King Kong.
But he's slow.
Yeah, but he's got atomic breath. His breath is the equivalent of a nuclear reactor.
Godzilla can fly.
And Kong could dip all that, and he could jump really high.
Yeah, so can Incredible Hulk. He still gets his ass beat.
All Kong really has to do is get close to Godzilla and just break his jaw, like he did that what was it, T-Rex or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not gonna pull that shit on Godzilla.
Bro, he's gonna get, because bro, like Godzilla has never met nobody like that though. A person that's actually quick and that can actually box him. He's gonna get bodied. He's gonna be put on the floor. He's gonna get put on the floor. He's gonna get knocked out a couple times.
Perp, it saddens me to say you're not bringing up. I mean, you're not bringing up not good points. You do bring up some pretty good points. Kong does have him in the sense that he can box, but as Timon Flip pointed out, Godzilla is radioactive too. And remember, Godzilla is used to radioactivity. I mean, he's literally powered by it. Kong is still organic monkey, and radioactive shit would make him sick.
But you also gotta realize that this Kong that we're about to see is gonna be a vastly bigger Kong than the one we got in Skull Island. That was baby Kong.
Yep.
So this motherfucker he's gonna be sitting like eye to eye with Godzilla. He's going to mollywop him, bro. He's going to destroy him.
Now, here's the thing.
Mollywop. That sounds like something that Bill Cosby does.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna make a prediction because it's pretty clear to see where this is going. We're gonna have the initial throwdown, kind of like with Ghidorah and Kong when they initially fought, and then at the end of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Ghidorah got his cybernetic implants because they found him and he was still alive. So they're going to make his cybernetic body. So I think you're going to have a situation where their attention is going to be diverted. And plus, there's a mysterious Titan within the Hollow Earth itself, and we don't know what it is. But if it's Nakuza, yeah, that monster's a beast. This
is what's gonna happen, right? They're gonna square off the first round. Kong's gonna body his shit. Like you see how you saw how Thanos did to the Hulk. That's exactly what King Kong's gonna do with Godzilla. He's gonna make light work of him, and then they're gonna fight.
I think it's gonna be a draw.
Look, then they're gonna fight again. Then it's gonna be a draw. Then because they're gonna be distracted because there's gonna be more other bigger threats that they have to worry about, and that's where they're gonna put their differences aside, and we're gonna have to wait for that official round 2 and stuff and whatnot. But Kong's gonna body his shit because you're not gonna introduce King Kong and just have him just get beat. You're not. That's just gonna be whack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Typically,
and
they
based
tend to make it 1 for 1.
And based off of what you just read off, it seems like it's a perfect way because like all the monsters are on Godzilla's side right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what a better way if all the monsters saw King Kong knock Godzilla out? They'd lose confidence in him and stuff, and everybody would side with Kong and say he's the strongest and whatnot. Like he's the new king of monsters for the time being.
Or Godzilla might test Kong, and we'll see a fight where like Godzilla does that call he did in King of the Monsters, and he just has he like tells his henchmen make light work of this.
Bro, they're gonna get bodied too, bro. They're gonna get their wings broke off, snapped off, like out there. Godzilla not ready.
Dragon World makes a good point. Godzilla does become Mega Fire Godzilla, and Kong isn't ready for that.
But before he can even get there, he's gonna be on the floor.
So we know where you're hedging your bets at. PB, what do you think of Godzilla versus King Kong at Skull Island?
I mean, I'm always gonna be on the side of God. I'm a Christian.
God, Kong.
Right?
Yep. I agree.
I agree with what you said at the beginning, not to the full extent. Like, we've been waiting for this almost our entire lives. Like, as long as you've known what monster movies are, like this style monster movie, not like monsters like frickin' Freddy and Jason, not those kind of monsters, but big ass frickin' kaiju monsters. Everybody has wanted to see the 2 biggest names duke it out, but they've always been on such a different size scale. Everybody was always like, well, yeah, Godzilla's always going to win. Godzilla's always going to win. But the size scale is not going to be as massively different as what I think it would have been, I don't know, 10 years ago. Like Kong is going to be way bigger. Godzilla isn't going to have grown any, but Kong will have grown a lot. Like he's
Yeah,
still
that's
going
Yeah,
to be a
because
little smaller, but he's a gorilla, so he's going to have that extra upper body strength. Like Godzilla, yeah, he has arms, but he's still essentially built like a T-Rex. Like he ain't up in here throwing
yeah.
hands with
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
Kong's got speed. Kong's got speed. Like that's one thing that Godzilla's not gonna be able to really counter. He's got to hit you directly. Like he's more effective with long range attacks. Closer up,
Right, like
not his
Godzilla
body.
needs to get ahead of the game. He's got to get the fire working ahead of time and like funnel Kong coming at him to be able to hit him with some type of fire blast. That would be his best chance. But if they're in, I don't know, if they would be fighting in, let's say, like Washington or Oregon, up in all of those freaking redwoods, so the trees are actually still, the same height as them, if not bigger, so they can still be in the woods. So you're not like out in a field, so you can't like see all the way around you. Like if he has any type of cover, like he's easily going to be able to take him down because as soon as you get Godzilla knocked down, then it's ground and pound. Godzilla got nothing.
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah, that's
Godzilla
true.
I mean,
and Godzilla's been knocked out at every one of his movies so far. So
I
Yeah, but
guess
he's also put up
it's
a good
gonna
fight
come
too.
down to, I guess, how intelligent they allow them to be written in the movie. Like, is Kong going to know that Godzilla has this freaking fire breath? Because if he doesn't, he's going to jump on
I
top of him and just start punching him. And Godzilla's going to be like, dude, I
I
got you dead to rights. One fire blast to the face, and then boom, he's dead. You know what I
I
mean?
think I think he's gonna try to Godzilla's gonna try to hit him with one of those beam things, and then Kong's gonna dodge it like on some like Dragon Ball Z shit. But all right, I gotta adapt to this very quick. He's going to be able to adapt to the fight a lot quicker than Godzilla. It's like all
Okay.
Yeah,
right, so he's gonna be like
yeah,
all
I
right,
could.
long. I was like all right, at long range, I'm trying to throw shit at him. That's not working. Let me get up close to him.
Okay.
He can't
So,
really do nothing.
I mean, I'm still pretty confident in the fact that they're going to end up teaming up.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing Kong has that's been proven that Godzilla has instinct, but Kong has intelligence that I think is going to give him a slight edge. Because remember in his movie, he used the chain. He was getting his ass beat, and then the helicopter went down, and he saw the chain, and he was kind of swinging it around. And then he realized he could wrap it around that creature, and he wrapped it around its throat and like pulled his head off.
Yeah,
So
he's a
he
savage.
knows how to use. Yeah, that was my like one of my favorite parts. But he knows like different weapons, and then he fought Samuel L. Jackson, and he understands the concepts of like weapons being shot at him and shit like that. So he's got he's got more than a primal instinct. He has like the know-how to use shit around him, and I think that's the difference maker between Kong and Godzilla is that Godzilla operates on instincts and animal instincts. Like he has intelligence and protects humans and things like that. But King Kong can utilize the environment around him. And in the jungle, like you guys said, that's going to be a big difference maker. I like what Timon Flip put here. He said God, and then he said King, and he's got the little.
He gonna show you who the real he gonna knock God off his pedestal. I'm telling you, that's how they gonna set it up. He gonna knock God out.
So
He's like, you think you
we know how you're voting, Perp.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, between the two of them, I'm always going to pick Godzilla. I like him more. He's bigger and he has radioactive fire breath. Even with all of the other advantages that I can list going the other way, I mean, if I'm splitting hairs, then I go with my favorite. That's just how it's going to work out. But with the way that this movie is going to play out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something along the lines of here's these two massive kaiju monsters beating the hell out of each other. What are we going to do? We can't stop them. They're going to destroy the whole fucking planet. And then I have a feeling there's going to be some version of Mecha Godzilla show up. And I don't know if it's going to be aliens. I don't know if it's just going to be super advanced robotics, but I would think that it's going to run on some type of AI system, and then it's going to go haywire, and then we're going to have to rely on the two monsters teaming up to take down the big machine.
Yeah, and they've been teasing at the end, and they teased Mecha Godzilla to be in the movie because they found one of his three
And
heads. And
also, also you gotta think they're gonna be on Skull Island, so Kong has the advantage. They're not like Godzilla had the advantage if they were in water or something like that. But
Right. If they were
Kong knows
sitting,
because Kong
yeah,
knows Skull Island better
if they're fighting like on the beach the whole time, Godzilla might have that little advantage. But as soon as you get off of the beach and you're in the jungle and shit like that, and he knows the lay of the land, that's like trying to go kill the Vietnamese. You don't know where the hell they're hiding in the jungle.
I'm watching the final fight of Kong Skull Island. I was like, bro, he's literally using strategy. Like he popped up on one of the things with a fucking rock. Like he jumped off the top ropes and shit. Like Kong's gonna be doing some like some crazy ass shit to Godzilla though.
But I think he's gonna be bigger than everything on that island at this point, or else it's not gonna be a fair fight. Godzilla's 300 feet tall.
And he just used the whole tree to smack one of the monsters in the face with it. So that's just like he's gonna use his environment. Yo, it's gonna be crazy.
Like Kong has to be at least like the very minimum height for this fight. As long as Godzilla stays the same height that he was in the previous movie and didn't get any bigger, because he's been getting bigger since the very first movie. He only used to be like freaking, I don't know, like 40 foot tall or something like that. Now he's like 300 and some foot tall. But Kong's going to have to be at least 200 feet tall. At least.
Yeah, he's gonna be big as shit. This is the closest thing we're gonna get to some live action Attack on Titan, man. Because that's why I like Attack on Titan. It's big old kaiju fight.
Yeah, you know, and one thing I'd like to see them cut out of this movie, and let's be real, and this was, yes, my biggest gripe with the movie, and don't get me wrong, they had some good actors. They had the dude from Bloodlines in this last one. He was just not giving good lines. I think that they need to cut out the human element. Look, Godzilla worked when you had the Japanese version because, one, you couldn't understand what the fuck they were saying,
That's
and
the best
two,
part.
yeah, and two, all you needed to hear was Godzilla and then fight ensued. We don't need to know the emotional status, and this woman is just conflicted about doing the right thing, and she dicks everyone over, and then she pulls over a last minute maneuver, and the girl from Stranger Things. You know, I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to see giant monsters fight. And look, most people just want to see that shit. So cut out the human shit. We don't care about the drama. Like, you can add, I like the Japanese guy in there, but I believe he died in the other one. But, like, you know, we don't need all of the shit. Like, they can be a factor like, oh shit, these monsters are fighting. Let's, like, throw some oh shit, the tanks are not even a factor. Well, we just better let them fight it out. I don't care about the other shit. Like, the mystery is okay, but it doesn't amount to anything, because at the end of the day, the monsters have to fight it out to decide the fate of the world. I hate the fucking subplot. Like, shave off an hour and just give me an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes of big monsters fighting. I'll be happy with that.
Yo, Kong is fucking this thing up. This meth gator.
Oh yeah, yeah, the meth gators. Yes. Although I'm not gonna lie, in Kong the characters were much better. I mean, you know, Michael Fassbender. What can I say? Who doesn't want him in any film? He's just fucking amazing. So yeah, I wanted to switch things back up to the comic book world and talk about something that is not being talked
No, I
about.
got a
And
downshift instead of upshifting. We're going to
yeah,
talk
we're gonna
about a
downshift
comic
a little.
book.
Yeah, but this is in relations. Look,
Source
there's a
material.
no, actually, not about source material, but it is a sad day for me. It's for all of you who don't know. I'm going to give you the real deal because we got Comicsgate out and all these other people. But let me tell you the real deal, people. And I talk to local comic book shops. I'd say Gary from Nerdjotic is probably the most accurate out of all of them when it talks about comic book stuff. But there has been a rumor and a myth that Marvel is this big entity and they're doing great. But you guys only see the MCU side of it. The MCU side has actually been keeping that company afloat. Marvel is in fucking ruins right now. Their comic book division, they are fucking hemorrhaging money. Uh, it's gotten to a point where DC Comics has pulled ahead of them and has been whooping their ass for several years now. And even with that, they're
Whoosh.
struggling. So I'm going to read some news that just further proves that Marvel's comic division is bleeding money. And I would not be surprised if Disney gets tired with bailing them out. One of the signs is that Marvel's digital comics shops are shutting down. This was a big thing, and this is really terrible because their prints aren't doing good, and most of their revenue was coming from the digital outlets. So they're shutting down the digital site. Marvel Comics is shutting down Marvel Digital Comics Shop at comicstore.marvel.com. On June 2nd, 2020, the publisher announced in a newsletter to users after June 2nd, readers will still be able to purchase Marvel Digital Comics and continue to read their existing Marvel Digital Comics library directly via the Marvel Comics app and Comixology, which shameless plug. If you don't have Comixology, that's what I use for my comic book reviews. They are great. Enter the code ZOD for a 3 month subscription. Anyways, Marvel offered these instructions to fans existing Marvel digital comic libraries after June 2nd. And it's just a video on how to put an end to your subscription. View your past purchases in My Books when you log into your
Hey,
account
I entered
on
that
the app.
code. It said I had to pay 10% more.
I'm a villain. Sync your current Marvel Digital Comics account to Comixology account and continue to read your books on the web browser. Marvel also noted that readers will continue to redeem digital comic codes at marvel.com redeem and view redeem comics in the Marvel Comics app. So, yeah, the comic book industry is taking a hit. Even in these movies are a different division, and I hate this whole argument. Well, that I've heard. Well, Marvel is doing great. Look at the Avengers and stuff like that. It's like, no, this is not connected. Like you guys like to point out and bitch and complain, they don't use the comic. Well, the comic end of it isn't getting the revenue. They're getting a portion, Marvel's as a whole, but they're not trying to fund the comic book end. So all of their books that they're bringing out and stuff like that are still being funded by the publishing companies. And now with the coronavirus, shit's looking pretty bad. I mean, even DC division took a hit. I read Todd McFarlane's article where he talks about doing a team up with them because he feels bad. He used to work there. I mean, it's really depressing because I grew up reading like X-Men and things like that, and think about Stan Lee starting these a small shop, and it grew into a large corporation, and he sold the rights to Disney to use his characters because the company was actually in financial trouble. He had gotten out of the board and shit like that, and now he's gone, and we've got fucking Safe Space and Snowflake. You think that shit would have stood if Stan Lee was manning the head? You think that vegan douchebag looking motherfucker would have came up and said, "Hey Stan, I got a great new idea. Fuck Spider-Man, okay? All right? Fuck Captain America. Fuck the Punisher. We've got Safe Space and Snowflake.
You know
There's the
what?
future."
You know what Stanley would have said? He would say, "Go fuck yourself, Excelsior."
And you know the sad part? Stan Lee was doing socially relevant comics before these fucking jizz stains were even being created. He was doing shit about Black Panther. Okay, I'm not a huge fan, but that comic was born out of the movement and the struggle of the African American community, out of the fact that they didn't have a African character to call their own. They didn't have a strong black male figure that they could look up to. And Stan Lee talked to the community,
They
and
didn't
he
have
made
a strong black male, so he created Storm. Wait.
no Storm and Black Panther, yeah, it was around about
They
the
made
same
a
time.
baby.
But I mean,
Black Storm.
what's up, Dean?
That's right.
You know, he was doing socially relevant shit, and when these new fucking this new generation, I forget what they call it, XYZ, whatever the fuck, when they came about, they took his ideas and they made it socially relevant and politically accurate, and look what the fuck happened to sales. Captain Marvel, I mean, her main enemy right now is Nuclear Man. Just think about that. Issue number 1 of the reboot is about Nuclear Man, who subjugates women on his planet. And their next big one, I swear to God, they have a panel showing him with, like, Princess Leia style, these girls with the neck chains, and he's leading them around, and he's got several wives. And I'm like, what the fuck am I reading right? Stan Lee didn't co-sign this. Are you shitting me? What are you doing? Like, and I hate to do that whole go woke, go broke thing, but this is the example of this shit that is sinking the ship. Because the way you get more money is not to try to go to that demographic and say, hey, we're going to draw our characters with no ass, with a horrible fucking looking suit, and they're going to be, non-binary. That's what comic book readers want to see. Get the fuck out of here. What do you guys think about this situation? And do you think that, the comic book industry is going to see more of these shutdowns and companies folding?
Yeah, it's just gonna take some time because all this stuff with the Rona and everything. It's kind of knocked everything out of whack. So things are destined to change pretty much. So just got to see where this all leads. They might end up launching a new digital comic thing and stuff, and probably why they want to shut down this one.
Well,
Or
hopefully,
smart. It'd be smart if they would have took DC's idea how DC Universe does it and just put all their comic books on Disney Plus.
yeah, that's actually a great idea.
I mean,
But Disney has
Disney
stated,
Plus don't necessarily have the greatest interface already, and now you want to add something to it. Fuck, it'll
Yeah,
crash.
you could just put like how the tabs are set up. You could just put a tab for comics. Boom, just all your favorite comics. You want to read the original Infinity War, the original Infinity Gauntlet.
Right, you'll go into there and you'll be like, yeah, Infinity War, boom, and then the movie will start.
that is true. That is true. You know, and Disney has come out because there's been because MCU exists. They've come out and been like, well, is Disney gonna come in and is Big Daddy Iger gonna come and save us?
Big
And
Daddy
Iger's like,
Iger. Don't ever call that man Big Daddy. Yeah. Oh my God.
is is Daddy Iger gonna give us money? And it's like, no, I'm not. What the fuck am I gonna do with comic books?
All right, I'm gonna roll this up. I use these comic book strips as rolling papers. Like, that would be dope. I would
Right. I
definitely buy
mean,
them
I
as joint
guess it
papers.
depends on your drug of choice. You either use them as rolling papers or you roll them up and use them as snooters.
Would you buy that, PB? Like, if they had these joint papers made by Marvel, and it would just be
Smokable comics?
like literally like yeah, like comic strips.
I mean, that's quite a novel idea. Get the joke book?
So, and
Oh, there you go. That the woman got it figured out. She's like, you use it as your snooter first, so you get her nice and caked in whatever your drug of choice is, and then you use it as a rolling paper.
so yeah, I mean, it's a sad day for comics. I know a lot of other companies that folded, and
Eh,
the
uh,
ones that are surviving are the original ideas and the truly inventive people who are taking it to other platforms. I hate to side with Perp with the whole digital revolution, but he's right in a sense. I mean, people don't read paperbacks and shit. I mean, they, physical media for these new
every
kids is like, what?
it, yeah, everybody like wants things on the go. So it's like as much as I don't like the digital like way things are going, but it's just they're selling people on convenience. What's more convenient for this person? Like, all right, we'll give you. You can have all the amount of comics that you can have for one price, like 10 or $8 a month, instead of having to spend individually. Yeah, you be able to keep those, but you could also. I don't know if they have any screenshot like software on these things where you can't screenshot, but you can still screenshot shits and print the shits out yourself and stuff. You know,
I
little
mean, yeah, disclaimer.
little life
But I
hacks.
mean, yeah, I mean, I saw on Google Play, I can get the whole set of particular comics for like 10.99. If I buy them individually, depending on the comic and the size, I'd be looking at like, 40-50 bucks hard copy for
Yeah.
Fuck that.
10.99.
Hey,
Yeah,
and
in the
this is a
library.
perfect. It's a perfect opportunity for people to go check out some mangas. 'Cause mangas are alive and well. They've also done their own thing, but they're alive and well.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I'm just hoping that this shutdown causes all of the bad comic books to get canceled because the good ones are still going to sell because that little bit of extra money that you have, you're going to say, oh, instead of buying the 3 comic books that I can buy this week, I can only buy one. So you're only going to buy your favorite. So if that's what everybody's doing, all of these lame ass comic books like Mr. I Enslave Women, so I got to be taken down by Cap and Whammon. Like, yeah, get rid of that.
and just so you guys know, shameless plug, but at the Prophets of Geek Culture, I will be reviewing New Warriors, which has Safe Space and Snowflake. I will be reading that on on that channel and giving a review because my Gotham High just was doing gangbusters. So I'm gonna review.
It does better than the videos you release on your own channel. And it's got
I
a
know.
tenth of the subs.
That was the weirdest thing ever. But so I'm gonna do the next book, and I'm gonna give you my unsolicited, honest opinion about it. Gotham High, I'm gonna continue to cover. because that's interesting. Bruce Wayne on Twitter. God. He's
Hey,
got the
Jamie Vick has a question for you, Zod. She says, why are comic books so expensive?
Jamie, it's a big marketing scam. You have the first edition, you have first prints, you have reprints, you have day one, it might have like a different slip cover, or what they do to really milk it if it's a good book, like White Knight for DC, the Batman, where Joker was the good guy and Batman was the Joker. They did variant covers where you had some with Bruce Wayne on the cover and some with Joker on the cover, and you'd have to get the different issues. Like they'd have issue one, but you'd have to get another issue one to get a different cover. So for a collector, there's a lot of different reasons why it hikes up the price. Like for instance, Spawn issue number one, the one that I have, when it first came out, wasn't that expensive because Timon Flip, bad commercial practices. I 100% agree. But with Spawn issue one, when it first printed, it actually wasn't that much. It was like the standard like $5 I think I paid, back in the day, whatever the comic book cost was. Now that it was successful, if you try to get the same copy I have, it's like $40. So, I mean, the best time to get it, especially if you think it's going to be a hit and that very first issue, is to get it when they first start out. And it's gamble because you don't know what books are going to be good and what will just flop. So, Timon Flip says at General Zod's fandom zone, but the big success cases on confunding are physical books outselling Marvel and DC. Crowdfunding, yes, that's crowdfunding is a different beast. Uh, and a lot of those are independent comics that are just doing new and crazy ideas. And Todd McFarlane was actually smart. His newest works, he's crowdfunding them. His new toy line, completely crowdfunded, and he smashed Hasbro, which is fucking amazing, and Walmart and
He bought
Kmart.
Hasbro toys just to smash them.
He should have. That would have been a funny video. But yeah, the newest Spawn toy, he crowdfunded in the first fucking opening day, like $300 to $400, and it just went up. I think he's at a crazy number. I haven't checked it recently, but that though that I should have got in on the ground floor. That toy is gonna be so fucking expensive when it comes out now. But yeah, I mean, he's a smart businessman, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, physical media is dying. We're gonna talk about another thing that's dying, and it's dying when Disney does a crossover. Star Wars.
What?
I thought Star Wars is already dead. But yet everybody
No.
talks about it every goddamn day.
Yeah. Star Wars is not dead, but Phineas and Ferb did a parody to Star Wars, and I thought it was interesting and worth bringing up because I know how much PB loves talking Star Wars. In episode 14 of The Deep, in the Plus saga, here we go into Disney Plus catalog and take an in-depth look at some of the movies and television shows that have gotten around to yet, and we break them down to see if they're worth our time. This week, in honor of the May the Fourth be with you, Revenge of the Fifth, it's Phineas and Ferb, Star Wars. Our friends Phineas and Ferb are happily living on Tatooine, just one moisture farm over from Luke. They love simply hanging out and creating new adventures under the twin suns. However, they find themselves thrust into a global rebellion when the plans for blowing up the Death Star accidentally fall into their hands. So let's join the boys, their sister Candace, Perry, Dr. D, and the rest of the gang as they do Star Wars. And may the fourth be with you.
May the rain be with you.
This was originally delivered in 2 separate episodes of Phineas and Ferb series, but Disney Plus has made it one show and put it out as a combined special for your convenience. What's unique about the Star Wars parody is that instead of casting the characters in the roles of Luke, Han, Leia, and the crew, this story happens alongside of the events of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. As a matter of fact, it's very similar to Timon and Pumbaa's 2004 straight-to-video The Lion King 1.5. That was a great fucking movie. Not. So so is the Star Wars episode Phineas and Ferb worth your time? Watch the show and decide for yourself. Do you agree with our thoughts? Blah, blah, blah. So what do you guys think about them doing a parody on a Disney show?
I am not a 2000s baby, so I am not interested in Phineas and Ferb. So
I have never watched a single episode of Phineas and Ferb, and I don't think that putting a lightsaber in their show is going to get me to turn on this episode now either. Like, that's not how that works. I have to already like your show, and then when you add the lightsaber to it, that just makes it that much better. Like when Robot Chicken or Family Guy did Star Wars. Those are fucking hilarious. But I ain't
Oh my God, with the janitor and he clean up the bodies.
Or even if it was like, say, if like Dexter's Lab was gonna say they're gonna come back with a special, and Tony Stark pops up, that would be epic. That would be hilarious.
That would make sense because they're both scientists. Could you picture Tony Stark arguing with Dexter? We need to make that happen, Cartoon Network. Oh my God, that would be fucking greatest.
Yeah, except it's going to be the Tony Stark from the cartoon, so the voice isn't going to sound the same, so you're still not going to care.
Yeah, that's true. They need Robert Downey. I mean, he just did Dr. Dolittle. That was trash, so he needs work.
A crossover I'd get excited for is if they say, hey, we're going to make a Kingdom Hearts series for Disney Plus. I'm like, word. That I would subscribe for Disney Plus and keep yearly just to tune in for that.
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
And then add a lightsaber to it.
Lightsaber Keyblade. That's all I want.
My God! Oh my God! Disney, make that happen. You know, we'll shill for you.
I would love to see. Sora team up with Rey or Luke. That'd be cool, and to have that dialogue between him and Darth Vader, or even Kylo Ren. Either one, it would be fine with me.
I would like to see Rey fall into a Sarlacc pit in Mandalorian, and then that's how Boba Fett got out. He climbed over her corpse.
No, I want it to be Darth Vader and Donald Duck.
Oh my God! Could you picture that argument?
Gosh, this guy's kind of dark. Because Goofy and Donald are hilarious in Kingdom Hearts because all they do is roast Sora the whole time. Like they just tell him how shitty of a person he is, pretty much. Like, or like you don't think they're like they're his like voice of reason, kind of and shit.
Could you picture Donald Duck as Vader's advisor? That's
crazy.
Oh. He would force choke him after an hour.
Yeah, but then you can have roasted duck.
Get with it, Square Enix and Disney. Make it happen. Kingdom Hearts 4. Put the Marvel characters in there. Put the Star Wars characters in. You could do it.
Yeah, man, that would be great. And speaking of games, great segue. Let's talk about this. Is hilarious that this reaches Forbes magazine. Is boy. So Microsoft didn't have a great showing, but apparently PS5 underwhelmed the competition too. Microsoft just showed an uncomfortable truth about the Xbox Series X and about the PS5. We've now seen the first showcase of the next gen gameplay, at least some of it, from Microsoft, the Xbox Series X, and whelmed seems to be the world of the day. It's all the social media at the moment, and it illustrates the general reaction to Microsoft's live stream. It was fine. It had some good stuff. It wasn't uh, underwhelming. It wasn't overwhelming. It was whelming. It
Nah,
did not have all the many shocking moments and product of the format, streaming limitations, and some of the basics troops. But even though we've got bigger games yet to come, Halo Infinity needs to do some more than
Infinite.
well, or Infinite. Yeah, that's whatever. Infinity, because that fucking saga is never going to end. And PS5 should have should have some heavy hitters out there. It also raises a basic truth about the next generation of consoles that's going to be tough for people selling them. It's all about diminishing returns. For years, manufacturers have relied on shiny new graphics to sell the consoles, but that's been getting harder over the years. Graphics will improve with the Xbox Series X and PS5. That much is true, but they'll improve in ways that are easier to see in slowed down side by side shots, and that's a problem. Diminishing returns have been with us for a couple generations now. Arguably, the most dramatic leap in graphics came with the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, with the drawn of the or with the thought
That's false.
that dawn of the 3D era. Though NES and SNES was darn impressive too. There's no question about what you were getting there. Here was Mario suddenly rendered in 3D, running in all directions. The PS2 was a little less dynamic, but still impressive. I still remember my months dropping when I first played Tekken Tag Tournament, which is still not such a bad looking game. From there, familiar patterns emerged. The Xbox 360 and the PS3 delivered noticeable, impressive improvements, but not much of a big leap as what we
That's a
saw from
huge leap.
no what we saw from PS1 to PS2, which is true. Ditto with the Xbox One and PS4. At launch, the games looked good, but not quite staggering. Rise, Son of Rome delivered some impressive character models, for example, but it did so with little intense gameplay limitation. Um, where am I? Oh, but it did do a little intense
You're in the
gameplay limitation.
fandom zone.
Yeah, those crystals mess me up sometimes. But made them harder to appreciate. Killzone Shadow Fall on the PS4 was the first-person shooter that was little more impressive than the first-person shooters we had seen before, and it brings us to the PS5 and Xbox Series X, uh, of which we've now seen the first moments of gameplay. Sure, they're impressive, but the graphics have already improved so much over the course of the last generations that it can be tough to really peg how impressive they are, especially in the presence of the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. We've already had Red Dead Redemption 2 after all, and The Last of Us Part 2 have no clue why you're mentioning that is on the way. The colossal effort required to make a game look quite beautiful means that very few can reach quite so high. You feel the this reflected elsewhere. Years ago, every game had to chase every other improving graphics because that was the big part of marketing landscape. Now, drop dead gorgeous graphics are really only selling point for a small number of gigantic A games. AAA, we'll just say games. And and the biggest, I know, I'm
That's
moderating.
not where I thought he was going to stumble in this story. That was special.
Okay, so sorry about that. I was reading a message. Superior
Oh
hardware
my
for the
God.
game. Multitasking. Superior hardware for the game is more about better performance than better fine son of a
Oh
bitch.
man.
What is it?
Damn
What is
you,
it?
Forbes. Uh,
Better than son of a bitch. I don't think that's how you pronounce that word.
Fidelity.
Fidelity?
Fidelity?
Yeah, there we go. Some of the most
Graphic
Oh.
fidelity.
some of the most popular games in the world are 5+ years old or even older, and they clearly don't look as technically as impressive as their modern counterparts. People are fine with that. The Xbox Series X and PS5 will be great for games in all sorts of ways, from loading times to performance to quality of life improvements and what looks like experience with a lot of pain points smoothed out. Developers seem excited, and that's exciting. Eventually, it sounds like they'll also be able to make huge leaps forward in how they present seamless worlds, more complex simulations, and all sorts of benefits from powerful hardware. But it's all just harder to show. And that makes selling these things harder. I get the feeling both Sony and Microsoft are ready for this. They're pushing ecosystem over individual machines, and they have tons of ways of making money beyond hardware sales. But it's going to make the launch of these machines feel different than what it was in the past. More similar to the launch of the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X, and the Xbox 360 and the PS3 say. There is still time to bring heat, and rest assured the heat will be brought. But the specter of diminishing returns isn't going away. So there we go. So, what do you guys feel like? Do you think that the PlayStation and the Xbox are going to have to use other marketing techniques? Because let's be real. I
No,
mean,
no.
even PS4, you can see fucking sweat on Kratos when he's running. I mean,
hmm
details and game environments, it's not
That's
the same
that's
as
that's
like,
all people. That's all people want at the end of the day. It's a good game. That's what's going to sell your console, regardless. So it's like you can market it all you want, as long as that game's good and people enjoy it, what they're playing, depending on what
yeah, I
that
mean,
is.
Dude,
But
they already started doing that. After we watched that freaking Xbox live stream, I had
yeah,
to read at least a dozen different headlines that said gameplay, gameplay, gameplay.
yeah.
I was like, I watched the entire fucking thing. There wasn't any gameplay anywhere in this entire fucking
And,
live stream. So yeah, they've changed their marketing. They just lie now.
and you got and for that, I would for Xbox's defense, that's all third party. So that's technically what's going to be on both platforms. We got to really wait until July when they show off the first party and see what they're bringing, because a lot of these games that you saw, they were probably in development like 2 years ago or something whatnot, and like we're not going to really see these developers take
Oh no,
advantage
I'm
of.
I'm sure that
Yeah.
Sony's going to do the same thing, saying, "Oh,
Mhm.
look at this gameplay! Look at this gameplay!" And I was like, "Yeah, that was a cinematic trailer, you fuckers."
Yeah, I hate that shit. I hate when they promote a game and they just give you like the opening cinema because you know you could I'm not gonna say it's easy, but you could just
It,
render that shit at they use those sometimes for like demos, you know what I mean, where they just give you the video
Yeah.
like in fucking GameStop.
Well,
That's
and
so
like you
cheap.
said, when you render it, you're going to make it look shinier. You're never going to have any frame rate drop in something that's rendered. So it's always going to be smooth. So you'll be like, yeah, look at how great this game is. And then you get it home and you're like, how
you
come
know
this
what?
don't look like what I was playing? You're like, oh, because they didn't show me what I was playing. They showed me all of the cutscenes in between.
You,
Thanks.
you you know what was funny about that whole like that little showcase they had? Even though they're gonna have an event every month, there's
Listening
more
to your
information.
reaction at the end?
There's more information about these games. Like with interviewers, like they show you what exactly what games run at like 60 frames or 30 frames, or if it's running at 4K, 60 frames and stuff like that. Like little details like that would have been nice to know, like about some of these games.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Um, People aren't knowledgeable like you are. You keep up with this shit fairly well, and you understand the dialogue. But for like someone like me or PB, we want to see what your game
Whoa,
looks
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
when the
whoa.
character.
Don't bring me down to your level.
Hey, hey. Uh,
Yeah, PB understands
Sometimes
frame
when
rate.
Perp gets talking about specs, I know you are
It's
just as
not even
lost as me.
I'm not even like it's not even like I'm not breaking down like oh what a teraflop is because most people don't even know what the fuck a teraflop is and whatnot and it's a bunch of fuck shit but fucking frame rate is anybody can understand that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Like
But
the more cinematic games look, those are gonna most likely be locked at 30 frames per second. It's not gonna be at 60.
and here's the thing though, you get a better idea when they do what they used to do and you see fucking people playing the game and what the
I agree.
models and the characters designs look like. Because like you said, they could just pick a cool and clean looking uh video to show you. Like
But I
for
feel I
instance,
feel I feel like before you continue, I feel like when Xbox is about to show off their first party games, that's when we're going to see actual gameplay. Because that'd be stupid for them not to be like, all right, we're just going to announce a bunch of these first party games. Like, no, show us Halo because that's ready. That's ready to go. Show us what the initiative's been working on. Show us what this company's been working on because they acquired like 15 different studios over the past like few years. So they're all about to make games or and whatnot.
like
But
Okay.
the best promo I saw was that one for Cyberpunk where they showed you the video, but they showed you gameplay as well
yeah.
and what it looked like. And it was like a smooth transition from the cutscene into the actual game. It still looked like when they started like playing through, I thought it was still the fucking cutscene. And then he was like
hmm
opening doors and shit. I was like,
They're,
oh fuck.
they're having their own event, and that's what's interesting about there not being an E3 this year because normally these companies would be like, all right, I'm gonna put my game out on Xbox stage. Now you can just put them out anywhere and whatnot. So they're supposed to be doing this whole game festival thing this whole summer, where all these different like developers show off their like games and stuff. I forget. I'm gonna look more into it because I just know like the gist of it is just it's gonna be kind of like you're gonna get like a conference every week or some shit like that type of jazz. But
Well, there's got to be jazz if there's going to be a gay festival.
I walked into gay festival and jazz. I,
You had to hear what
I
Perp said, or else it doesn't make sense.
and also people forget because I think this is gonna be a big this is going to be pretty big for Xbox if they market it well. Is they're coming out with two consoles, like the one that you saw, the Series X, and another one that's cheaper. That's probably going to be like around $350. So
I like what Jamie Vick said because this was a problem that I had. Is that the machines now are not backwards compatible, and I like the backwards compatibility. Look, you
yeah, I think
spend
Xbox
what?
for that.
You spend hundreds of dollars over the course of having your
Whoa,
system
whoa,
because 60
whoa,
games,
whoa, 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 whoa.
$60 a pop on games.
Did this guy just say you can thank Xbox for backwards compatibility?
Listen, let me explain. Because PlayStation killed it off with the PlayStation 3,
No,
and
they
it
had
was
backwards
Not
compatible
what
only for
PlayStation
that.
happened.
3.
They only had it for the original PlayStation 3. After that, they got rid of it.
That's
And
not
then when
entirely true.
when I'm saying when Xbox One came out, right? They did that first when it first came out. It didn't have backwards compatibility until a year after, and that's when you started seeing because PS4 was not backwards compatible with you could play the only way you could play old games on your PlayStation 4 is if you signed up for their PlayStation Now shit, which is straight garbage because it's like streaming pretty much. Um, but yeah, they kind of started that trend up, and then like that's why the PS5 now is going to have backwards compatibility. Like it's not have doesn't have full backwards compatibility for PlayStation 4 games, but it said like 500, not 500, like 100 games at launch are going to be backwards compatible, and then they're going to probably add more to that list over time, similar to what Xbox is doing. Because now you got original Xbox games, 360, Xbox One games, and whatever.
Well, just so everybody gets a clear picture of history, the PS2 was the first system to be backwards
I know that.
compatible.
I'm just saying, like, who brought it back was Xbox, because PlayStation was about to kill it off with the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I know because I had to buy an original PlayStation 3 to get the backwards compatible feature because the new ones they put out didn't have it. And man, I had
The
to
new
go.
ones they put out are reverse compatible with PS1 games.
Only the
Well, no,
original PlayStation 3 is.
yeah, the newer
Yep.
systems
No,
they got
the
rid of it.
original 60 and 30 gig systems are reverse compatible with PS2 and PS1 games. All of the other PS3s that are made after that, all of the Slims will not play PS2 games, but will play PS1 games. So they're halfway reverse compatible still.
That's
That's
garbage.
interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, although I'm fine with
It
that
has to
because
do with
Final
some stupid
Fantasy.
fucking coding on the PS2 disc
Yeah,
and
that's
some chip
that's
that had to be in the
yeah.
PS2.
The architecture on the PlayStation 3. That's why they have such an issue making those games backwards compatible on like a PlayStation 4. They could probably figure it out for the 5, but I doubt it.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's the thing. You spend years, and you jump from one system to another. It's like resetting it again. It's like, oh, now I gotta buy a whole new bunch of games, or I gotta wait until they come out with a remaster of a game I like, or if the store comes out and says, oh, now we've made this,
That's why
digitally, you could download it.
that's why I'm
It-
kind
it-
of fine with where I'm at with Xbox because I have all my games on external. All I have to do is plug that up into my Series X, and I got all my things already there.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing becomes a pretty expensive venture. That's why it's just good to stop at a system you like. I do want to get that Cyberpunk though. Like that game's gonna
Yeah,
be fire.
and also I think I like what they're doing with these next gens. I don't know if PlayStation's gonna have something similar to this, but the whole smart delivery. So if you were to buy, say, if I'm buying Cyberpunk on Xbox One, I automatically I'm gonna have a Series X copy when I upgrade to that. So I'll only have to buy one version of the game. Now with Madden and stuff, they kind of found a loophole and they're kind of screwing people over. They give you like a kind of a limited time window to be able to upgrade your game and stuff. So
Jamie Vick has a pretty good question. So, are the newer Xbox systems backwards compatible?
yes, backwards and forwards, like pretty much. Yeah, like the Series X is going to be backwards compatible for everything from the original Xbox to 360 to Xbox One, and also their controllers. So you could use the Series X controller right now on your Xbox One.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually pretty good. So, I mean, but these are the things where like they really should highlight this shit. You know what I mean? Because, like the
Hmm.
article said, in a landscape where games are becoming virtually clean and every system is producing good titles, they're now going to have to sell on the features. It's like when you buy a car, right? And there's models that essentially are pretty much in the ballpark of the same with their look and things like that. You got to start selling on the features and the different
Like
things that they can do over the other car.
like Game Pass. Game Pass is getting really popular now on Xbox. Like a lot of people are sleeping on the deal. Like, oh, I don't want to subscribe to that, but like it's like they got this deal now where I'm probably gonna end up switching to this. Like it's $15 a month. You get Xbox Gold, you get Game Pass, and pretty much like you get all the same content on your PC if you switch to PC and whatnot. So
Yeah,
quick.
and that's what Microsoft needs to take advantage of is the fact that they are also a player in the PC market, and
Hmm.
they need to like do a lot more crossover stuff because that's a big untapped market for them. To
And
even if they can port PC titles,
yeah, and people always make fun of Xbox for doing that. Be like, bro, it's just more people get to play your game. Like, that's a win-win for the gamer. I understand like people are going to use that narrative like, oh, Xbox has no exclusives now because all their games coming to PC and stuff. But it's just like, not everybody that owns Xbox is going to go out and buy a PC. Not everybody that has a PC is going to go buy an Xbox.
but if you find a way to get both of that demographic, then you
Yeah.
have an advantage over the competition because you're providing something that the competition can't.
And then that's what's going to be the thing in the future, like because Xbox has already gotten ahead of the game with the whole cloud gaming stuff. Like that, their shit is way better than fucking Google and stuff. Like I'm signed up to the with the whole not the preview program, whatever. I use some of that. I was like, damn, yo, this this is pretty clean. Like you can like sit there and play say Halo or Gears of War on your phone or some shit like or just any little tablet or some shit.
Yeah, see, that's the stuff that's going to, and that's what Ford was talking about. That's the stuff that's going to give them the edge. But as you stated, and as Cybernetic was ranting, you need to show more of that. No one wants to go and see one of these events and have you just fucking demo a fucking video scene, like a cinematic scene from your game and then be like, "Oh, this is what the system looks like," and blah blah blah. But you know, they want to know, hey, what makes your system worth dropping the fucking whatever the price is going to be? Because you know that shit's going to be expensive.
Yeah, it's not gonna be too expensive. I don't think it's gonna be any higher than what they were previously. Like the Xbox is probably gonna be 500 most likely, and then whatever their
Yeah,
second, whatever their other their cheaper console is gonna be is probably gonna be like 299 or 349 or something like that. So
yeah, and then you know you add if you want to buy a game and things like that. That's an extra $60 and
they might
controllers,
try
and that's it.
to take a. I don't because I know Sony's waiting for Xbox to announce their price. That's why they haven't talked about price. But they're saying that it costs like $450 dollars to manufacture a PlayStation 5. So they either have to sell it at that price or take a $50 loss, or or go with just 500.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year to see who's going to take the crown. I predict Nintendo.
Yeah, man, the Switch is doing well. The Switch is doing well, but nobody. I don't really care about the Switch like that. The Switch is a good secondary like console. That will never be my main. That'll never be my main console.
Well, it's been interesting to dive into this. I like getting into it with you with the technological stuff. Let's go now to my last article and the one I've been saving my hatred for, the biggest fucking piece of shit on the planet Earth, a person
Are
that
you
I
about to
hate.
talk about Brie Larson?
Oh, well, yeah, they're up there with that, but no, they're the male Brie Larson. Uh, this person is the biggest shit in the late night television world. If you haven't been on my channel, then you haven't heard me rant about this person, because I don't talk about them as much as Brie Larson, but they're still on my shit list. Jimmy Kimmel. This guy is the biggest piece of shit, ass licking cunt face that I've ever fucking seen within the media. How the fuck this no talented hack has gotten into position of talking to stars? I assume it's by sucking Hollywood's dick. He's managed to maintain his status in the spotlight, but Jimmy Kimmel is yet again in the news for saying something fucking stupid. And I'm going to read this article because he's such a piece of shit. But Jimmy Kimmel issues a backhanded apology after misleading clip of Mike Pence carrying an empty PBE box. I just like to say there's jokes, but with this shit going on, he's the type of person who's in the room and he just says that joke that takes it a little bit too far. Like, it's just not funny. You just look at him and go, what the fuck, man? Really? We were all having a good laugh, and then you had to take it that extra fucking mile. Jimmy Kimmel issued a backhanded apology on Friday after airing an edited clip of Vice President Mike Pence delivering an empty boxes of PBE to a hospital. The NBC late night host mocked Pence during his Thursday night monologue after showing a clip of a maskless Pence pretending to carry empty boxes of PPE. Kimmel drew viewers' attention to an audio clip where Pence asked his team if he can carry the boxes just for the camera. Here he is on with no mask on, wheeling boxes, PBE into medical health center and doing his best to lift them. What a hero, since it was going so well, and also because he didn't realize he had a mic on. Magic Mike decided to keep on going. Listen in closely here. Kimmel said before playing the audio of the C-SPAN footage. Kimmel called it the perfect metaphor for who Pence is and what he's doing. The clip was shared on Twitter and attracted over 2.7 million viewers. But BuzzFeed News Department Director David Mack pointed out that Kimmel did not air the full video, which showed Pence was simply teasing staffers about boxes being empty. This isn't true. The clip cuts out selective points. When you watch the C-SPAN footage, Pence makes a crack about carrying empty ones, and the guy says, absolutely, they're a lot easier. Pence laughs immediately, shuts the door to the van. Mac wrote, adding the link to the C-SPAN edited footage. Pence and the other officers lifted the box, clearly weighed something, i.e., contained things. Pence returns to the car, makes the empty box comment with a smirk, and responds with a crack of his own, then laugh. Pence closes the door, Mac acts. The BuzzFeed director said Kimmel removed the clip from Twitter once he was called out for the error. He addressed the gaffe on Friday in a half-hearted apology. It would appear that @Veep was joking
You
about
mean the
carrying.
GIF?
He was joking about carrying empty boxes for a stage publicity stunt. The full video reveals that he was carrying full boxes. My apologies. I know how dearly this administration values truth, Kimmel sarcastically wrote on his Twitter on Friday. Meanwhile, Pence communication director John Thompson criticized Kimmel, calling the edited clip absolute garbage and insisted Pence was clearly joking. So apparently, in the world of Jimmy Kimmel, only he can make shitty jokes. Everybody else who has a sense of humor, they're not funny. They're not allowed to have a laugh. And, in these serious times where these guys are going into areas where they could possibly be infected with this virus, which I take this shit seriously because I had a personal experience actually happen to me. And I think, he's trying to break the ice and trying to, get the guys, have some humor, get the guys, having to go there and deal with this situation. And no, this fucking douchebag, Jimmy Kimmel, like the rest of this fucking left-leaning liberal piece of shit media, they always have to sit here and make asses out of themselves. And he knew that Pence was joking when he did this. He knew, and he purposely edited the clip just to make the administration look like shit. Look, if you want to take something that Trump says, that's one thing. God knows the man says gold every time he talks. You probably catch something he says a little left field. I'll admit that. But to sit there and purposely edit shit just so you can put it on your fucking sleazebag television show for ratings you're not even getting, because the fucking show's rating has been in the toilet for years. And if it was on any other fucking network, it would have been canceled. But to do that in the middle of this crisis, you're a fucking scumbag. This dude is the lowest fucking form of life out there. I fucking hate him. I hate his fucking network. I hate all these fucking pieces of shit. Really, I wish we can go back to Salem witch trials where we were fucking burning these people alive. Disclaimer.
I didn't see Jimmy Kimmel commit any witchcraft.
It's like, if you want to point out something and be like, point out that joke and be like, oh, Pence, way to make a funny joke during the crisis, something like that, I can understand that. But since the days of like Jay Leno and David Letterman, these fucking guys have become bottom-feeding scumbags. Colbert and all the rest of these fucking assholes are sitting there purposely doctoring footage just to get fucking ratings. How fucking sick and twisted is that during a fucking crisis? I mean, how fucking low do you have to be to do that?
You would think during a crisis, there's plenty of stupid people out there doing stupid things that you can find another video clip to write a joke about. I don't think that, I mean, I don't know how many people specifically, but they probably got 15 or 20 writers that work for them. And just because the show is from his home doesn't mean they're not writing stuff and sending it to whoever. I don't know if it goes to him or the producers and then they decide which jokes are going to be on the show or whatever. But it's not like he wrote this joke and nobody else knew about it and then he said it on the show, because that's not how the show fucking works. He wrote it, he told everybody, and they all said, oh yeah, man, that joke's gonna crush it. You gotta tell that one. And then we all went, well, that was fucking dumb.
It's this syndrome. Like, the one great thing that this administration has exposed is how fucking low this media has gotten. I mean, they've always been fucking low, but I mean, these last couple of years, they've sunk to such a fucking low that it's just become this this machine spitting out untruths. How many fucking articles do we have to read when these dipshits are fucking apologizing every 5 minutes for something they print that's misleading, that's fucking wrong, outright wrong? I mean, the,
Well, I'm not gonna equate people in the media as far as late night talk show hosts that are out there to make jokes based on things that are happening compared to people on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, whatever, that are bringing you the news, whether they're supposed to be a regular journalist or whether there's somebody like Chris Matthews or Sean Hannity where they're going to editorialize the news and give you their opinion of it. Like, they're not the same as somebody that's out there telling jokes, but you should still be basing your jokes on the facts, because when you do that, it makes them that much funnier. Like, I'm not a professional joke writer. That's not my training. I don't know how to do these things. But if you're going to make a joke about the president, like, make the joke about, yeah, he went to Florida and we lost him in a bushel of oranges.
now, see, that was a fucking funny joke right there. There used to be a way for these people where they could still mock it, but you could tell it was in good fun. It was equal. And I mean, Jay Leno and David Letterman and them, they were still very on the other side of the political spectrum, but I enjoyed watching their comedy because their shit was fucking
Right.
funny and it was a
Their
true article.
their comedy their comedy was more fair, even if you knew that politically they leaned more towards the left. Like, that's fine. You can be a part of whatever political party you want. You can be a political Scientologist. I don't give a shit. But when you're going to be doing jokes, I want the jokes to be like equal opportunity jokes. Attack everybody the same or attack nobody the same. But if, like you say, they are exclusively trying to do this not as a joke, yes, you are going to laugh at it because look at how stupid the vice president is. Yeah, except you know that he's not actually being that stupid because you know what was happening in the footage and you decided to present it out of context in order to slander somebody to make them look bad. And we're not talking about as a joke. Like, you think it's going to get people to laugh. And as far as I know, a lot of those guys now, even when they were in the studio, they're the studio audience, they're told, hey, when they tell a joke and they get to the punchline, we flash that applause sign. You better fucking laugh, or else you need to get the hell out of here. Like, we need people in our audience that are going to laugh at these jokes, whether they are funny or not. I was like, that's not how jokes are supposed to work. I mean, that was the one thing. Well, I mean, not the one thing. One of the things that I loved about the Late Late Show when it was Craig Ferguson. I will guarantee you, even when they moved into the high definition studio and they expanded it a little bit, I will guarantee there was no applause signs because he would come out and he'd be doing the monologue for the first 10 minutes or whatever. And there would always be like 2, 3, 4 jokes that nobody would laugh at. Like, nobody. You'd get one person in the audience that would groan or moan or something like that. And he'd be like, oh, apparently that one's not funny.
And that's the thing where you could tell the really funny comedic people who deliver the news and things like that and put a satirical spin over the ones who aren't funny, because you could tell that feedback, like, us ripping on each other and stuff like that. The chat responds and things like that. And if they don't respond, then we know the shit that we were saying, either they don't care about or they didn't think it was funny. But here it's like the new format is, it's like they're being controlled. It's like, oh, this is fucking funny. Everything we tell is funny.
Because, like, if you
You
would
know,
take this exact same scenario, right? And dial it back exactly 4 years. Would Jimmy Kimmel have made that same joke about Joe Biden doing the same thing? Absolutely not.
oh no, not at all. When Obama was in, it was like jokes were off limits. Like, how many jokes did you hear about
Oh,
him?
you can do jokes, but they have to be I mean, approved isn't the word, but they have to be a tame joke. It has to be a mild to medium joke. You can't be doing Anthony Jeselnik level jokes about Barack Obama.
No, that would cause a riot. But I mean, some of the funniest ones that came out were from Keenan and Peele when he did Obama angry.
Oh
That
man,
that shit was fucking
those sketches
hilarious.
when it was him and his wife talking to each other, and then Keegan was in the back actually doing the real speak. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh man, those were great. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, doing jokes like that where, yeah, you're taking it like that little bit beyond the pale where I don't need you to be slandering somebody or pointing out how they're a complete fucking idiot, like how everybody seemed to have to do it with George Bush. Like, George Bush is an idiot. He can't even complete a phrase. Well, when Joe Biden does it, they're just like, yeah, he's fine. He knew what he was talking about. What? This is the same exact thing.
And that's the thing, it's really what we've been talking about, and the actual definition where we talk about all the woke culture and everything else. You want to talk about clear media biases? This is the shit, like, real world we are seeing. And look, this isn't jokes where, like, it's in good fun. Like, I could take jokes like, you see the memes of the coronavirus, and then there's a corona bottle and shit like that. That shit is in good spirit, but these are mean spirited, like you said, slander, attacking, and it's got a different vibe. It's not funny. It comes off as just really ruthless and mean. And it's not what a joke is. Like, you have mean jokes, but 90% of the time people don't laugh at them because they're directed at a person to intentionally hurt them or make them look
I
like a
mean,
fucking idiot.
everybody's heard every single joke that every late night comedian, going all the way from Jimmy Kimmel to Samantha Bee, that they've had about Donald Trump and women. Like, everybody's heard every single joke like that, and they are terrible. Like, the joke itself is not good. You're probably not going to laugh at the joke. You might scoff at it, you might tisk at it. You're going to get it, like, the comedian, they're going to get a reaction from you, but it's not going to be a laugh. And this is about a man who is accused of all of these crimes. But then you
Yeah,
dial the clock back again 20 years. And if you go to the other side of the aisle, surprise, surprise, the guy on the other side, good old Bubba, Bill Clinton, is convicted of these crimes. He sexually assaulted Paula Jones. He got his law license revoked from the state of Missouri. He was not allowed to be a lawyer anymore because of what he did. But they don't be making jokes like that about Bill Clinton
No, no.
because he's for women because he's a Democrat.
And that is the thing. And look, the great thing about the old comedians and the old late night talk shows is they would have still gone there, but now you factor in the way the culture is, the way these fucking kids are brainwashed, and with the way society is now. I mean, we've read articles, we've talked about it, where comedians themselves, not even in talking political, right? Just any jokes about women and things like that. These comedians are walking on fucking pins and needles because any little thing you say is going to be drudged up and dragged through the mud, and you called this, you called that. I heard, I was watching Netflix. I can't remember the fucking comedian. I gotta look it up again. But he was talking about the Me Too era and said the funniest fucking joke I ever heard, where he was like, he goes, nowadays, he's like, even if a woman says yes, you can't take that at face value. He goes, I got a tape recorder woman I go out with now. And he goes, I was out on a date, and she goes, yeah, let's go back to my place. He goes, hold on a second. He pulls out her phone and she's like, what are you doing? Taking a picture? He goes, no. Would you say that again a little bit louder? Because nowadays,
that's what you got to do.
Because nowadays, even a fucking joke that you're telling, you can't, because these people get all in a fucking tizzy and a fucking flip. I mean, you look at what's his name, Dave Chappelle, in the me, like any fucking comic or any comic hour he's had, even like Sticks and Stones, and then he had another one. And these guys, I mean, fucking Rotten Tomato, 20% on the fucking Rotten meter for critics. Like, oh, his jokes are so 90s, and clearly it's primitive, and he hasn't grown up, and he makes light of issues that aren't funny. And I go, nah, it's fucking funny, because the premise of his jokes are exactly what you people are doing now.
I thought that was the whole point of joke, was to make light of serious issues. Who cares if you're making light of light issues?
No, and it wasn't Bill Burr. That was a whole different one, but Bill Burr was fucking hilarious too with what he was saying. But yeah,
I didn't watch that one yet.
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. Even Eric, Unicorn was in the room with me, and she goes, "Holy fuck, what did he just say?" I go, "I know, right?" He's like, when he was like, "I can't even do this comedy here in America," he goes, "because you fucking people would boo me out of the
way to save it, guy." You putz.
But I mean, yeah, it's getting so ridiculous. I mean, look at Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips switched from doing comedies in Hollywood because he says in the article, and we read this way back for the Joker, he said he got tired at the fact that even Hollywood comedy movies don't want to touch those subjects anymore. They want to fucking nominate a movie like Booksmart for a fucking Oscar. And that movie was a female ripoff of what the fuck was that movie? Superbad. That's all that movie was.
Oh, yeah.
That movie was super bad if you just put in girls and made one of them a lesbian and didn't know she was a lesbian until the end of the movie. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And these late night talk show hosts just make it worse. And then the fucking media makes it even more worse. I mean, they want to talk about how the president handled this situation. Let's talk about how the media handled it. How they sat there and they made it sound like we were in the fucking zombie apocalypse. Like, there's one thing doing and bringing up facts for your audience, that's acceptable. But like the way they were stating shit and inflating numbers, Squirrel had more accurate numbers. I went to Mad Squirrel's channel to watch it on Corona because the media she would say nightly, their numbers were totally fucking off and inflated. They were giving fucking foreign country numbers for the US.
That's because you have to do that if you want to push your agenda properly and the numbers don't fit them.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And the thing is, look, late night talk shows, they're bread and butter. What they're based on is taking these real world issues and stories and putting a spin on them. And you know what? In this time, we do need some levity because shit is fucked up. You know, things are messed up and people really do go through that shit. There's people who have family members and other people who have been affected by this virus, and that's fine if you want to give them some levity and you want to make them laugh. But at the same time, there's a tasteful way to do these things, and outright attacking people is not one of them.
Like, I would laugh if he gets backlash or any type of backlash for this or any substantial. Like, we're not giving him any real backlash other than saying that he's a dick. Like, that's not real backlash. It's just an opinion, but whatever. And then he'll come out and be like, oh, well, it wasn't my joke. It was somebody else's, and it was in the prompter, so I read it.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing too. They don't ever take credit. They're just like, oh yeah, writer number C fucked up, and I just read what he wrote. And there's a screening process and all of this stuff. They read all of this shit before they go on, and they go to do their little shtick. So it's just it's frustrating. You know, they the thing is, there's a difference between being edgy and being fucking mean and condescending. There's a difference between pushing boundaries and between, saying, hey, it's a joke. I don't really mean it. That's not really my stance, but we got to fucking laugh about this because it's serious. And then just attacking a single entity or a person maliciously just because you fucking suck as a comedian. And I mean, let's be real. When he had the Man Show, it came out a while ago. His other co-host there, what was it? It was Jimmy Kimmel and
Adam Carolla.
Carolla. Yeah, he did a lot of
Adam
that material.
Toyota Corolla.
Adam Carolla did most of the jokes on their show. Most people didn't know that. I watched a documentary on him and their relationship, and he talks about like the shit they did in the past and things like that. Jimmy Kimmel is a fucking leech. He's got people who write his shit. I mean, he's had some funny things, but most of it was the really crude shit that was in that show came from him. Now, all of a sudden, he's this champion for women. He thinks the administration is a dictatorship and all this bullshit. And it's like, dude, you are so fucking fake and transparent. It's fucking amazing. But yeah,
I wish he'd be transparent so I didn't have to see him.
Yeah, and I agree with Jamie Vick. She says, as in, if he hates this country so much,
whoa.
why did he come
She's
here?
Talking about Trevor Noah.
Oh, Trevor Noah. Yeah, that's another one. Oh,
You missed the conversation. The conversation was Jamie Vick said the worst one I think is Trevor Noah, and then Curtis replied as in most edgy, and then I said Trevor Noah sucks. Like he's not good doing the Daily Show. He's nowhere near as good as Jon Stewart. That's for damn sure. And that's when she responded with the as in, if he hates the country so much, why did he come here? To change the culture, to improve our country because we're such big racists.
Yeah, and his jokes are just terrible. Like his delivery and setup, he's so fucking dry, and not the good dry where there's like a payoff. It's just like
no, like I liked 2 or 3 of his comedy specials that I watched, so I was halfway excited for him to come to the Daily Show, I was like, oh, this could be good. And then I watched it for a little while and I was like, oh, so this is just nice, light-hearted jokes for Democrats and evil, you're the spawn of Satan jokes for the Republicans. So that's not going to continue to be funny forever.
Yeah, it's a sad state we're in, and
That's what I said. I would have had no problem with that either way. Like, if you want to have your style of comedy to be this lighthearted style of comedy, like frickin' Rodney Dangerfield, I get no respect. Like, if that's what you're looking for, okay. But you have to keep that style of consistency with everybody that you're telling jokes about. If you're telling jokes about Elizabeth Warren or Sarah Palin, you have to have the same level of viciousness built into the delivery and the joke that is behind it. If it's vastly different, it's like, oh, well, here's the guy that's just sent out to attack the Republicans again. So these jokes aren't going to be funny because I know what happened today. Like, anytime that you know that anything big happened, or you're like, oh, I heard what people were bitching about President Trump doing today. So I know what all the jokes are going to be about, and they're going to be lame as fuck. Like, when nothing happens, politically speaking, is when you get the best material out of all of these hack fucking late night comedians because they actually have to try.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
It's
When
not
they
just,
do,
oh, did you see what Trump did? He's so stupid. Did you see Pence? He's carrying an empty box.
yep, it's ridiculous, and that's why our late night show exists, so that you can get actually funny jokes, sometimes at my expense, but it's all good because I'm here for you.
It's not my fault that you make it easy.
That's a fair point. But we have the dynamic there, and like we said, you can't switch it up. You got we got consistency is what the people want. But anyways, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. It's getting late. I gotta have ice cream cake with little dictator.
Where's it
That's
from?
I got it from Walmart in the bakery.
Ooh, you're rolling the dice there, guy. I got one
I
from
know.
there once. It wasn't what I was expecting, so hopefully yours is better than mine.
Yeah, here's the hope. And I was debating, but then I remembered I had to actually shop for the child because there was a cheesecake that I was going to go for. And I'm like, no, your daughter
She
will.
don't be liking cheesecake?
No, she doesn't like anything new.
What? Wait, what do you mean new?
She's never had cheesecake.
Okay, well, she's gonna
And
be a teenager, so you need to fix that.
yeah, she is a teenager. She just turned 13.
Yeah, you need to fix that, guy. Like, you live in the great state of Wisconsin, and you're holding cheesecake away from her? For shame.
So that aside, let's start wrapping this up. Let's make sure Perp didn't die because I know how
Do I
much he
perp?
loves.
Uh-oh. Maybe he had to go and get a coffee because he was falling asleep. And then when he
No,
went
I'm
to
here.
go get it,
I was just muted.
oh, he lives.
But Perp, nice to have you, Dean. Thanks for coming. Perp,
Of
go
course.
ahead and plug your channel. We're gonna call you Mr. 1K Purple Man.
Okay, purple man, that's funny. Um, but yeah, what I got recently, I just dropped my episode reviews on Dead to Me season 2. Go show that some love if you've seen the series. Definitely go check it out. Each episode is pretty short. They're like 30 minutes or less. Also dropped my video on Takashi 69. Give you my little thoughts on it. Might talk about it on my upcoming random live stream Tuesday at like 10. What was it, like 11 p.m. And yeah, that's what I got coming so far. So yeah, that's it.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're always glad to hear you got 50 reviews coming. We can't possibly watch that many, but I pick out the ones of the shows I might be curious about because Perp does a great job. Go check out the Prophets of Geek Culture where he did a review on the new DC animated feature. It was very good. He also did a review on Mortal Kombat as
Oh,
well. So,
wait, speaking of which, I will be dropping another movie reviews soon, probably next week. Yeah, next weekend.
ooh,
Whenever Scoop comes out, I'll probably throw that up on there.
ooh, all right. So yeah, definitely go check out those. Go check out those reviews. He's got
Oh,
some good stuff.
EFAP must be over. The Senate showed up.
EPEP?
Right at the end. Uh he could get some good jokes in. Uh and of course the commander, the co-host, and the person who keeps things straight, the funnier half of late night anywhere. Definitely fucking funnier than Kimmel. Mr. Pop Culture PB, tell them about where they can find good jokes if they want to laugh.
Dude, if I had his writers, I have 10 times the delivery that Jimmy fucking Kimmel has. Easily. Easily. And yeah, you can find me at Pop Culture PB on YouTube and on Twitter. And you can find me at Prophets of Geek Culture. The last video that I put out yesterday was talking about the new show coming out on Disney Plus called The Fury Files. They're going to dive into all of your favorite superheroes and villains in the Marvel universe. And when they said it like that, I was a little put off. I was like, oh, so no Punisher story because he's not a hero or a villain. So yeah, go check that video out. And then yeah, if you want to laugh, go over to my channel and watch a video or two over there.
Awesome, awesome. And later today I will have up I've actually decided on time. I actually probably later tonight I'm gonna have two live streams, and I have one that is going to be uh uh if you oh shit, another message. Jesus Christ, women. I'm gonna have one review up that is going to be on the article that I read for Prophets of Geek Culture. It is going to cover why Marvel is looking at Charlie Cox to reprise his role as Daredevil in the MCU. So, exciting news on that front. It looks like they are really advocating to bring Daredevil back for one last season, probably on Hulu, because they can't show it on Disney Plus, so you'll never make it there. But the contracts have expired. They're talking about bringing in Punisher, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil so far, as into the MCU and what they're going to do. They're going to give them their own separate kind of thing. So I'll be covering that article, and I'm going to be doing two live streams, one on an overview of the Clone Wars and what we thought of season 7. All in
I
all,
should probably watch the rest of it, hey?
yeah, the best, the worst, all of those episodes. And then that night, I will do my Penny Dreadful after the episode premiere, so everyone would have a chance to watch it. I'm going to do it like directly after. So it comes on 9/8 Central. I'm going to do my review at 10 and just give
If
you
it
my
comes on
thoughts.
at 9, 8 Central, that means it gets over at 9, 10 or 10, 9 Central?
Yeah, around there.
Okay, you immediately when it gets over is when you should start. You shouldn't wait an hour. Immediately when that gets over is when you should start, because that's when people are going to be looking for reactions on the internet.
Yeah, I think I should lean more towards the 9 o'clock end then. Hey.
Yeah.
So, I definitely will have that review up for you. And immediately after, I don't like to do the side by side streaming because I don't want to be watching on my phone and then trying to react and watching the chat. That's just too much. I'm just going to let the whole episode play out and then give you my thoughts and we can talk about it. So it'll be a fun thing. And, I'll give you my opinion of it. So far, I'm about 50-50. I'm really waiting for a couple of big moments. So I want to see more supernatural shit, and we'll see how that goes. And then I am going to also have up a couple of more reviews. So I'll have some stuff on the Prophets of Geek Culture and on the new movie coming out for the Train to Busan. So
Busan?
yeah, Busan. There we go. So
Yeah.
definitely go.
The dreams of Wuhan were dashed by virus.
No, it's a zombie thriller. It was a pretty big hit. They
Yeah,
have
that's
number
all
2
that's
coming
left
out.
in Wuhan. It's zombies.
So yeah, it might be a real life zombie story. So anyways, thank you everybody. You all have a great night. And remember the only rule here in the fandom zone, kneel before General Zod.
No.
Never, ever, ever. Shit.
Ever.